Hi everyone, and welcome to what I'm prepping today. So this was yesterday and today what I prepped. So have not worked in the garden much yet and haven't even really cleaned it up yet this year. So you may see some stuff that looks pretty nasty, but nothing's been worked on. What I do generally, and I started this probably 3 or 4 years ago when our peach trees were so prolific, we threw all of the wasted peaches and peaches that had fallen into just a big pile thinking they would compost, when in fact what they did was they sprouted and I had probably, I don't know, 40 or 50 trees. So I didn't need that, and I thought, if I'm going to take the time to dig these out, I could just give them away. And of course, I offered them free to family. And what I did then is I put them on a Facebook buy, sell, trade ad. I don't think LetGo was around here then. And I sold them for, I think I said $10 each, and because I didn't care, I said I think they were 5 for $20 or something like that, and I sold quite a bit of them. And as a matter of fact, I had 2 women here fighting over them one time because I had scheduled people like, okay, you could be here at 1, you could be here at 1:30, you could be here at 1:15, and I didn't want a lot of people at my house at one time because I'm not really running a store. But then they started like arguing over who gets to pick these trees first, and oh my gosh, but it was terrible. So my husband likes to make wine, and he also hasn't had time to for quite some time. So he wanted yellow raspberries. Last year I ordered 25 yellow raspberries, and they were so amazing. The roots on these raspberries that I ordered, this is just one, and that's not even one of the better ones. But look at that. That is amazing. So I ordered 25, and I said immediately, crap, I should have ordered 100. So I called the company and got 75 more, and the reason is because you got a price break for 25, no price break for 50, but your next price break was for 100. So they just charged me the difference and sent them to me, and I sold them. I sold them for, once I potted them up, I sold them for $10 each, or 3 for $25. So the reason, I think that's a lot, but that's nowhere near what you would pay at Lowe's, I don't believe. So I started buying pots, and now I'm buying pots in, where's that pause button? In stacks like this, and I was getting them on Amazon and eBay, but that got to be a little expensive. So I actually found a place called the Greenhouse Mega Store. And even with shipping, they charge you for shipping, but even with shipping, they are cheaper than any other source that I have found. And maybe that's because they're on the East Coast. That might not be work for you in the Midwest or West Coast. So most of them go in these small pots, which really aren't too small actually. It's called a 600, and it's 1.72 gallons. But some of them, and I trim roots. So let me show you what I do when I trim roots. I kept all the root cuttings in the bag, and I'll keep them moist, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with those. But to get some of my money back real quick, and because I really didn't need 100 plants and I didn't want to pot up that many, this is 8 that I'm saving for a friend, and she's just going to reimburse me what I paid for them. So she's going to pay me $20 for 8 plants, and I've already sold 20 plants for $50, which it just lets me get back some of my investment on a quick basis without, and that's not making any money. So let me show you, some of these are in different size pots because the root systems were just, even if I trimmed them, which I trim everything to stimulate root growth, you want to trim your roots, these were just, the root systems on these were just so large, and I will actually leave these grow, let these grow, in these bigger pots, and these are probably the ones my husband will claim, but that's cool because I like wine. So let me show you the ones that have been potted since last year. Okay, these are the ones that have been potted since last year. And when you pot so much, like, you know, I have these tags, so that's an investment. This little guy, or big guy, doesn't look like he's going to come back. These ones are already getting new growth. So these are the ones that we had set aside for my husband to plant. He just works so much, probably about, I think he has 70 hours in, 60 hours in this week, and he still has 2 more days to go. And then these are also some of the yellow raspberries. You can see some of them might not come back, but that's okay. We have so many, and they pay for themselves when you're able to sell some. Now these are my ginkgo biloba trees. I ordered these from a forestry service in Indiana, PA. And I don't see any of them. I think they're getting buds on them. I don't see any greenery yet. I actually thought these would sell a little better than they did, but it's okay because the forestry service or forestry company, it's not a service. It's a tree farm maybe? I don't know. They actually give you a price break where it's almost cheaper to buy 50 trees than it is to buy 25 trees. It's crazy. So let me think of an example. You may pay at 25 trees, you may pay $2 a tree, but if you buy 50 trees, you're paying $2.10 a tree. Well, who's not going to add a couple more dollars to double their trees? And if the trees grow, great. If not, it's kind of just like a little extra insurance policy. And then over here we've got more ginkgo, and here I potted up mint because, if believe it or not, I advertised mint for sale. They were actually $3 each, and you can see what I use for pots. Drill a hole in the bottom, be careful. $3 each, or 3 for $5. And if somebody came and bought a tree or bought trees, I said, hey, you want some free mint? So they liked that. And this is my forsythia. I will sell that. I saw at Lowe's the other day a forsythia that was 2 feet tall, was $22. That's outrageous. All you need is, if you want forsythia, is a cutting from somebody's plant. Stick it in the ground if you can wait. If you don't want to wait, then by all means, just go buy it for $22. And let me show you what else we have. So like I said, don't fault me. It's not cleaned up yet. This was my cardboard path. That works great. And over here, this was a cardboard path covered with wood chips. And we, instead of using tomato cages now, we use cattle panels. Much better. Cheaper. And over here is more stuff we have planted. Did I label it? Oh yes, these are black walnut trees. So we have so many black walnut trees growing that are mature and giving us nuts that we don't use. Isn't that a shame? That what we do, I dig up the plants, the trees, and I put them in the pots, and those I'll also sell. If somebody wants them, we have some plum trees here, and these are my elderberries. And these were just little itty bitty cuttings. That's why they're in such small containers. Obviously this wasn't an itty bitty cutting, but those are my elders. And this looks like a dead peach tree. This looks like an okay peach tree, purple leaf peach tree. So yeah, that's it. Over here are my favorite ones, and I'm trying to get these to grow in pots. They don't seem to do so well in pots for me. I will work on that. And pawpaws. Oh my goodness, love them. Let me show you the other ones I have. So this baby doll right here is our first pawpaw tree, and that lived. We bought this guy, we bought 6 of these when they were less than a foot tall. They were $8 each, and this guy lived. So then we went to West Virginia and dug some up from a man who said we could have as many as we want. He had them all over his property, and none of them lived. I think we made a huge mistake by doing that in the heat of summer. More pawpaws here. We went to the Mother Earth Festival at Seven Springs in Pennsylvania, and we bought some for $10 each from a vendor there, and he turned out they were beautiful trees. Beautiful trees. We planted some here and some at our other place, and they're doing great. But that's who I ended up contacting for all of his other trees, and that's who I get my trees from. And I've probably got about 400 trees coming in. And there's our little stack of wood chips. But anyway, so that's what I prepped today. And as usual, I made the video a little bit too long. Didn't mean to give you a whole tour of the garden. Just wanted to show you the yellow raspberries, really. And then I wanted to show you a little way to make a little bit of extra money on the homestead. And it also helps you get in contact with some people locally who, you know, may have the same mindset as you. And I had a lot of young people, and I mean young to me because they were old enough to be my children. You know, I'd say 20s, early 30s. I'm 52. And I was really surprised how many young people were interested in growing things. And when they show up and they like, oh, they're deciding what to get, and well, I'd like to have one of those, but oh, I only have this amount of money. You know what? I end up giving them things because I want them to garden. I want them to grow. And of course, if you're going to sell things, you want them coming back and you want them to have a good experience. So that's it. These are more berry plants. And these guys, I remember I put these guys here because they weren't doing so well, and I didn't want them to like totally dry out. So I put them under the soaker hose so that when the soaker hose was on, they had a constant supply of water. And I did say that was it for the video, and I kept talking. So, okay guys, so give me a little tour of your garden if you want, and tell me what you prepped today. I'll be probably doing less inside and a lot more outside, God willing, and you know, if I'm able to lift things. So have a great day, and God bless you all.